She's a 15-year-old black girl, and based on that description alone, you know where this is going. Instantaneously, Ironheart became the internet's punching bag, being continuously criticized over and over and over again.
With only a few weeks left until Ironheart premieres on Disney+, things aren't looking good behind the scenes at Disney and Marvel Studios. There's pressure from executives and backlash online, and the studio is struggling to handle what's turning into a big mess with fans and marketing. A lot of it comes down to the trailer. Many fans think it should never have been released the way it was. To begin with, Ironheart has been sitting on the shelf for over 2 years. Though production wrapped long ago, the studio delayed marketing for nearly 9 months, an uncharacteristic move for a Marvel project. And now, with the release window looming, the reception to the trailer has been overwhelmingly negative. It's been crushed across nearly every major social media platform. The visuals, acting, CGI, costume design, and dialogue have all come under heavy criticism. Even longtime Marvel supporters are calling it one of the weakest trailers to come out of the MCU.
We have been graced with all manner of trailers the past week, including Superman, but everyone is talking about Marvel's Ironheart. I'll let others provide their review on the trailer and the potential for its for its success, but I want to focus on only one aspect of it. Yet another girl boss-led character, so focused on competing with her male action counterparts that her acting, at least in the trailer, ranges between angry and really angry.
The backlash is even worse because of where the character Ririwilliams, also known as Ironheart, comes from. Unlike classic Marvel heroes who have long histories and big fan followings, Riri is a newer character, introduced in 2016. She was part of a comic series that didn't sell well and got canceled early. Her time in the comics was short and didn't get much love from fans. Still, Disney decided to move forward with bringing her to the screen, possibly hoping she could become as popular as the older, well-known heroes. Unfortunately, test screenings haven't helped the case. Sources indicate that 3 separate test audiences gave Ironheart a poor reception, especially due to its tone and character writing. One major point of criticism came from a scene in episode 6, where Riri responds to a villain's challenge with, "Excuse me, but I go by she/her." Intended as comedic relief, the moment reportedly fell flat and disrupted what should have been a climactic and intense sequence. Disney is now considering removing the scene entirely to save the finale's tone.
You know, I listen to a lot of rap music, and I know how angry black people are, and I feel bad, you know, for all you guys gotta put up with.
Well, that's very nice of you.
In 1994, that cringe was called comedy. Now it's unironically the attitude behind representation. Allyship, that's the new bigotry, and Ironheart continues to prove it.
This isn't an isolated example. Episode 4 originally featured a sequence of Riri mocking Tony Stark while watching old interviews. This attempt to distance her from Iron Man's legacy backfired dramatically in screenings, especially among fans who still hold Stark as the emotional center of the MCU. The irony is noticeable. Marvel built its cinematic empire on the back of Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr., and now seems to be eroding that foundation with new characters introduced without the same depth or fan investment. Insiders say multiple scenes across episodes 3, 4, and 6 are now being cut or edited in a last-ditch effort to save the show. With a final test screening scheduled for early June, Disney is racing the clock. If that screening also fails, the contingency plan reportedly includes slashing even more marketing dollars, a telling sign of Disney's lack of confidence in the project. And it doesn't stop there. Some merchandise originally slated to launch alongside the show, totaling up to $50 million in production and promotion, has already been pulled. Retailers and theme parks alike are backing away, choosing not to debut several Ironheart-themed items. That's a massive financial and symbolic loss, highlighting just how little faith the company now has in this project.
When they make a character's entire identity a rebuttal to a stereotype, that stereotype is still all that defines them. And Marvel thinks that's progress? Hey, we can make some progress for this fundraiser for Safe Families. All this video's ad money is gonna go to them, and I'll tell you about them at the end.
Even the comparisons to The Acolyte, another Disney Plus series widely panned for its content and messaging, are becoming unavoidable. In fact, Some critics are already calling Ironheart Acolyte 2.0. One emergency meeting between Disney executives reportedly involved pressure from certain board members to retain at least one pronoun-related scene, mirroring the Acolyte's tone. That decision has sparked internal conflict, as some believe the inclusion is tone-deaf given the show's already shaky footing with audiences. From a strategic standpoint, this is uncharted territory for Marvel. At one time, the studio could do no wrong. Kevin Feige's decision to fast-track Ironheart in 2020 was made during Marvel's golden age, right after Avengers Endgame. But the strikes, delays, and now the public response are revealing a much deeper issue. Marvel might be out of touch with its core fan base. The series has already broken an unfortunate record: the shortest time between trailer drop and series premiere in the history of the MCU's live-action projects. That isn't a sign of confidence. It's a sign that they're trying to rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with.
Ironheart as a trailer on Twitter discussing film literally deactivated the replies because they knew exactly what was coming. All the racists was going to come out the woodwork and just hate bomb on this film, and you know they've been doing that really since the project was announced.
As if all that wasn't enough, there's confusion even among casual audiences. A parody moment online that confused Ironheart with a Japanese adult film of a similar name briefly went viral. While meant as a joke, it underscores just how poorly the show is being marketed and perceived by the public. There's no strong, clear brand identity, no emotional core for fans to latch onto, and certainly no buzz that would suggest Ironheart will rise to the occasion. And the trailer itself? Critics point out that it spends almost a full minute with Riri walking into a building and escaping an elevator. Hardly the dynamic, action-packed intro fans expect from a Marvel project. The rest of the trailer continues with vague affirmations of Riri's brilliance, but with little shown to back it up. She's praised by others, told she's iconic, and encouraged to build something undeniable, but viewers aren't shown how or why she's earned any of that acclaim.
For real?
Welcome, Riri. In less than 3 minutes, the air in this elevator will no longer be breathable.
Oh, what is this?
Your interview. You'll suffocate and die unless you break into the device on the floor, where you'll find a gas mask. Good luck.
It's formulaic writing, and audiences have noticed. There's a growing sentiment that Marvel is simply telling viewers how to feel about characters rather than earning that investment through story. This kind of writing is not only off-putting, it's beginning to damage the trust that built Marvel into a global powerhouse. To be clear, the issues with Ironheart aren't solely about representation or diversity. The problem lies in execution, rushed scripts, lack of development, pleasing without purpose, and a persistent trend of putting identity politics ahead of story and character. And in the case of Ironheart, the studio seems to be doubling down on all of it at once.
Kevin Feige even admitted that Marvel's constant stream of Disney Plus shows and movies started to feel a lot like homework for fans, and Bob Iger even said, they lost focus by pushing out way too much stuff way too fast, and they've been extremely upfront about the need to slow down, focus on quality, and stop overwhelming fans.
Executive producer Ryan Coogler's connection to the project added some early credibility, especially following his success with Black Panther. But even his presence can't shield this series from criticism. Fans have pointed out the irony of Marvel leaning into identity-driven marketing while seemingly ignoring basic storytelling fundamentals. The villain of the show, the Hood, a character with mystical ties to Dormammu in the comics, is reportedly being reimagined with connections to Mephisto. Critics say it's a waste of a compelling villain on a project that doesn't have the narrative weight to use him properly. Combined with a weak costume design and uninspired action sequences in the trailer, it's hard to see how Ironheart escapes the shadow of its own hype.
At D23, we learned that the villain in this series is going to be the Hood.
Where she lives?
Chicago.
The villain is Chicago?
No, the villain is the Hood. Okay, wait, I understand. The villain is a character called the Hood, not like her neighborhood.
In the end, this show might be a turning point, not because of the story itself, but because of what it stands for. After years of winning over fans, Marvel now seems to be pushing the limits of their audience's patience and loyalty. With a reported budget of $120 to $130 million, plus millions more spent on merchandise that might not even sell, Ironheart could become the example of what happens when a big brand drifts too far from what made people love it in the first place. Whether this leads to bigger consequences for Marvel's upcoming catalog like Fantastic Four or Avengers Secret Wars remains to be seen. But for now, the damage control is real. The cuts are happening. The panic is visible. And the trailer is doing the exact opposite of what it was supposed to. Was this project doomed from the start? Or is there still hope for Ironheart? Only time will tell. As events unfold, we will give you the highlights, for we do not watch drama on my channel. We live for it.